Jacob Raymond from Tesla Web, and I'm new breed to Austin with 2 prior exits. What I noticed is that the definition of early stage is completely different in Texas compared to, let's say, London or Bay Area, or even Miami or New York. So what is the definition of your early stage that you said? And the second thing is the average valuation or cap that you would enter. I believe it's very relevant to a lot of people here.
So for us, early stage is a person that starts with an idea. That's the first step of an early stage, all the way to post MVP step, and before really trying to get product market fit. That's, for me, that's early stage, and it's very variable, but that is it. In terms of rounds, it's friends and family, angels, pre-seed, seed, late seed, and Series A for me. And that's how I measure early stage. And the second one was, we get into an average of $12 million valuation.
Early stage for us, kind of similar answer in a way. I think it's really anything after friends and family capital. And so the idea, we want to see it proved out with some product market fit for us to be comfortable investing. And then after the friends and family round is probably where we're comfortable investing. We seem to be investing mostly kind of $5 to $20 million post-money valuations is where we play.
Yeah, so we have 3 stages of capital. Our lab, pre-seed, seed, and post-seed, they're all pre-product market fit. On the pre-seed side, more than 50% don't have revenue. The seed stage, usually there's some revenue. We don't think of it from a revenue perspective. We think of it from how nascent is sales motion. Is there something that's working? And then the post-seed side, we'll do up to $5 million, usually in the kind of 20s. I think there's been a lot of discussions about like what's the valuation cap, safes, post-money, pre-money, no caps, no discounts, all the above. We don't think of it as much that. We think of it as make sure you're not selling too much of the company at the appropriate stage, and what's the capital you need, and then how do we go find the investors to help you do that. So, we support all of our lab companies, not just in working through the go-to-market in a 12, 18, 24-month relationship. We also help them go fundraise. So I feel it's been challenging the last 6 months doing that, right? And I feel the pain for 15, 20 portfolio companies, right? That the market was very different a year or two ago. But yeah, we don't think about it really from the valuation perspective that early. The post-seed stage for us, we think of it, it's kind of in the 20s. We're doing up to $5 million.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use the words early stage and late stage because they're so meaningless because they mean so many different things. And so at least when I talk about our investment stages, we do initial investments at what I would call the post-revenue seed stage, the Series A stage, and the Series B stage. And so usually that's in companies that are doing anywhere from 400,000 or 500,000 of ARR at the low end to, call it up to 5 million, sometimes even 7 million of ARR towards the top end. And if you think about valuations, it's hard to do an average because one year we might do 5 seeds and a couple Series A's, and the next year we might do 3 Series B's and a couple Series. It really depends on our mix, but we've done investments at valuations ranging initial checks from 7 or 8 million to 120 million, and just depending on the stage of the companies. And we've done follow-on checks from anywhere from that point up to almost $1 billion in valuation, as our companies raise subsequent rounds. And, sometimes we'll, lead or co-lead future rounds or do much more than our pro rata to fill out a future round.
Thank you. Why is it that it's taking too long? I mean, the decision making is very slow compared to elsewhere in Austin compared to, let's say, Bay Area, New York, and so on.
One person want to take a shot?
Yeah, I just want to answer.
Yeah, if you think about 10, 12, 15 years ago, the history of venture capital, right? It was Boston, New York, and San Francisco, right? The SAFE, right, largely created by YC, the KISS out of 500 startups. There's a great article, I forget, someone wrote it, but just about how investing in startups became almost like social capital, right? And so the speed and the number of angels that you saw in the Valley was astronomical, right? Whereas you had kind of all these old school gray-haired, investors in New York that were primarily investing in convertible notes, which is a debt instrument, right? And doesn't have the same protections that a safe or convertible equity does for founders. So I think that's kind of getting to your question. I don't know if we've interacted between Mucker, but I don't know if you can say like Austin is takes more time. I think there's safes here, right? I think this ecosystem is starting to come together. I mean, I've seen it a little bit before. I think Aaron has too. There's a bunch of newer folks here, right? I'm with the newer firm Mucker in LA, and I think that the ecosystem kind of needs to take 2, 3, 5 years to start maturing, right? As all these firms come together. That being said, S3, Live Oak, Silverton, Next Coast have all been here for 5, 7 years. A lot of them came from Austin Ventures. But to answer your question, I think of it from the kind of New York mindset versus the Valley mindset. I think the Valley mindset is very unique and has been very unique, and that's why really it was an ecosystem from a startup perspective that led the world for 50 years, dating back to like pre-semiconductors.